Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989, that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
Look, I will be the first to tell you that I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that, because I got there that summer and misspoke on this, so I will just... That's what I've said.
I've been to the southern border more than our borders are. Kamala Harris has been. Of course, additional resources would help, but the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job.
Look, we fix this issue with a bill that is necessary. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. We could come together. We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue.
Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
So those of you out there listening tonight, you're hearing a lot of stuff back and forth, and it's good, it's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen. Both grew up in that, we understand. Now, this is a philosophical difference between us.
You're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good.
I watched it happen too. I watched it to my communities, and we talked about that. So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. Putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home.
So appreciate that. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here.
You hear us talking exactly the same. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about what's happening. His running mate, though, does not, and that's the problem.
Senator? May I respond to that? First of all, Governor, I agree with you. And maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me, and we do have to do better. And I think that Governor Walz and I actually probably agree that we need to do better on this. The question is just, how do we actually do it?
Here's what I do think, that this is a good start to the conversation. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it. It's abhorrent, and it breaks your heart. I agree with that.
Senator?
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. And I'm sorry about that, and I hope that you're doing okay. Christ have mercy. And I appreciate what Tim said, actually, about Finland.
Yeah, I sat in that office with those San Diego parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. My shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice. Just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat, and I think this is a healthy conversation. I think there's a capacity to find solutions on this that work. That's our priority. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in.
Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent.
Senator Vance, you still have 23 seconds there. Do you want to answer?
I have it.
Where? Governor, we will get to you in a moment.
Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that?
Governor, your time is up.
Well, there's a Federal Reserve study that we're happy to share after the debate. We'll put it up on social media, actual immigration and higher housing prices. Now, of course, I actually agree with Tim Walz. We should get out of this idea of housing as a commodity.
What are the federal regulations? I deal with this as a governor.
You can very quickly reply.
I'm sorry. I get this as a governor, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. Congress writes those.
Governor, thank you. Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. You're passionate, I can tell.
A number of my Republican colleagues and some Democrats, too, have worked on this issue, and I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue. You know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks. It's very simple common sense. I think as Tim Walz knows from 12 years in Congress, you're not going to propose a 900-page bill standing on a debate stage, and it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company.
Let's be clear of where we're at on this. It's because we got out of an imbalance on this. Well, I don't think Senator Vance and I are that far apart. I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. I think we need to be open to making the case.
As Tim said, a lot of the child care shortage is we just don't have enough resources. We should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this is a very important substantive difference to provide child care in the way that makes the most sense and how we deliver family care and how we promote child care. Because, look, it is unacceptable.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here, and I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator.
Me too, man.
Democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Yeah, well, look, Tim, we are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it.
And I think there's a lot of agreement. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. There's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me.
We need to respect the results of the election. I'm on board.
And I'm going to thank Senator Vance. Thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you.